As it goes into western parts of Franklin County, Indiana, this is going to impact about 9,300 folks there in western sections of Franklin County. So Oldenburg, you're under the gun here. Peppertown under the gun. Metamora, some of the same towns I called out the last time I joined you here, up to Laurel, Indiana. Again, if you're in any of these locations, what you need to do is get to the lowest level of your home. If that's a basement, go there. Put as many walls between you and the outside of the home as possible, as we have a Doppler radar indicated tornado impacting western sections of Franklin County, Indiana right now. Let's give you the view of the winds inside of this storm, and you can see the rotation here right along 229 as we come in a little bit tighter. Where you see the greens and the reds coming together, there's 229 coming out of Oldenburg. It's in this location that we are seeing rotation now on Doppler radar. So I want to kind of give you the big view here of where this storm's heading. I'm going to circle the rotation point there that is pretty much along 229 at this juncture. And we're going to give you an idea of where that rotation is going to be moving here over the next few minutes. It's moving northeast at about 30 miles an hour. So we're going to take a storm track here and give you an idea of the locations that will be impacted by this possible tornado as it moves off to the north and east. So here's a look at those spots. Peppertown, Pilgrim Holiness Church, Metamora between now and around 8:15, Whitewater Canal Memorial around 8:16. 8:19 at Philadelphia Church, which is a historical site there, and around Duck Creek Stone Chapel around 8:23. Those are the locations. If you're in and around those locations, you need to get to your safe place right now. Lowest level of your home, a basement preferable. Put as many walls between you and the outside of your home as possible. Again, a possible tornado here. This is Doppler radar indicated that is moving across western sections of Franklin County, Indiana, moving up toward the Peppertown area, toward Metamora, eventually toward Laurel and Blooming Grove, all locations that are in the path of this possible tornado. You can see it's got that kidney bean-like shape that we see here on the back of the storm. All these things are trying to rotate tonight. This one has been one of the stronger storms that we have seen so far, but if you're in those sections of Franklin County, Indiana, get to your safe place right now, because again, we're dealing with a tornado warning. Elsewhere, we've had a real heavy downpour come through downtown Cincinnati right now. You can see that here around Norwood, Finneytown, Gulf Manor, a tropical downpour here as we see this tropical air drawn into the Ohio Valley ahead of the remnants of Beryl, which is going to move to our north tonight. But these downpours continue to work through Hamilton County, nothing severe here. Also coming up here through northern parts of Brown County into Clinton County, another downpour there north of Fayetteville to the southeast of Blanchester. Nothing that is severe right now, but we're going to watch those isolated storms. It's the one in Franklin County, Indiana, that has our attention right now, and it has prompted a tornado warning until 8:30, a Doppler radar indicated tornado here with this thing right now. What I want to look at here is see if we have any debris being lofted by a possible tornado. We are not seeing that right now. We have a mode here on radar where we could take a look and differentiate between rain and meteorological targets and debris that is being potentially lofted in the air. We are not seeing that. So we do not have any radar confirmation of a tornado. What we have is a radar indicated tornado, which shows that we do have strong rotation in this area right now, and a whole lot of lightning has been coming through here, although it's not as electrically active as what it was before. About 23 lightning strikes here in the past 15 minutes. So this is going to be one of these situations tonight with these stronger storms. They're all going to try to spin, and we may see tornado warnings at times based on the fact that we could get brief, small tornadoes popping out of these storms. This one for western sections of Franklin County, Indiana. And again, this particular tornado warning here tonight for western Franklin County is going to go until 8:30 this evening. I'm alongside meteorologist Caroline Cohen, who is also here examining these storms tonight. We've got another one here, Caroline.
Yeah, so they did let it expire from our previous warning because it was showing signs of weakening, but then it got a little too tight again, so they upped it. I do want to take a few things off so you could see our red polygon, and that'll give you a better indicator of exactly where this is. So let's take a look right here. Okay, so if you are within the red polygon, pretty much along 229 up north into Peppertown and then crossing over 52, Metamora, Brookville, even within that, all the way up pretty much to 121 just north of Laurel there, you are under this tornado warning. So that means if you are in any of these areas, it is time for you to get to the lowest level of your house, a basement, and put yourself as far away from exterior windows and doors as possible. Now this one is pretty much moving at the same speed as our last tornado warning. It's moving northeast about 30 miles per hour or so. So I want to put our polygon on again, extend it so you see exactly when it's coming into your neck of the woods. So for example, if you see any of these time trackers, I guess, that's when this storm will likely move into your neck of the woods based on how quickly it's currently moving. So to the northeast, about 30 miles per hour, that would put it in Oak Forest at about 8:21. So just shy of about 15 minutes from now. Brookville at just shy of 8:30. Now they do anticipate that this will be allowed to expire at 8:30, but still Blooming Grove and then Fairfield Marina South, that's an area that would see it right around that 8:30 mark when it could be expired at that point. Some differences that we're seeing right now compared to when we were last joining you, not as much lightning, but still some pretty heavy downpours going on right now. So even if you are within the polygon and you're not necessarily, you probably can't see a whole lot actually, but not necessarily seeing any rotation and whatnot, you're likely dealing with heavy downpours. So as we get a little bit closer in, yeah, you could see here along St. Mary's Road over to 229, if you're within that, heavy downpours happening right now. A little bit of lightning, not nearly as much as before, and this one is moving about 5 miles per hour slower than the last one. The other thing we're taking a look at is we want to see that rotation. We want to take a look at those winds that are moving both toward and away from the radar, because that would indicate that rotation to us. As we've mentioned, winds were going to be a big issue. Heavy downpours going to be an issue. You could see a little bit of hail in this one, but that hail is not what's pushing us into that strong or severe criteria, so you may notice some little hail going on out there, but it's really going to be those winds. That's going to be the big issue here. Now, as this continues to move northeast, again at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, some other things to take note of. It has shown weakening. However, it still has held on to a little bit, just a little bit of that rotation. So that's why they've let this expire, then reissued one just north. Areas that are likely going to be seeing this, if it does get extended, that would push into about Bloomington Grove, New Fairfield, then we'd be crossing over, moving along 101 there into Billingsville and whatnot. So, John, as we're taking a look at these storms, right now this is the only real severe warning we have going on, but if you swing things back a little bit, that heavy rain we've been talking about.
That's later.
Yeah.
It's coming our way later.
But the good news is they've allowed some of those to expire as well. So while we're still keeping a close watch on it, as of now down into just south, I should say, of Bloomington, they are showing a little bit of weakening. The rotation, though, is there, and that's why we're still holding on to these warnings, unfortunately, and we'll likely still hold on to them. But there is a little bit of a silver lining there, that we are seeing some weakening. Weak weakening. I think
weakening.
I think that's
it's a little weakening. It's weak weakening. That's exactly
weakening. How about that?
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to hold on to this still. No indication the latest update. Yeah, they plan to hold on to it for another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, but I think that's prudent right now, given what we're seeing. And so when we last joined you on that storm, the gate-to-gate shear, which is a measure of the strength of rotation, it was at 55 miles per hour. Well, now it's back up around 70 miles per hour. So that is why the National Weather Service has decided to issue a new tornado warning for western Franklin County. And we had a feeling that this was going to happen. That's why before we went off the air, we were tracking those locations that could be impacted by this storm. So again, here through around 8:30, that is what we're dealing with for western Franklin County, Indiana, for a Doppler radar indicated tornado. Looks like right around Peppertown is where we have the rotation at this point. So Peppertown area, you need to be in your safe spot. That's right along 229 there, running through Franklin County. So into the Peppertown area, get to your safe spot right now. I want to give kind of a more broad track on where this rotation is going to be heading here. And you can see Pilgrim Holiness Church there, Metamora, between now and 8/16. Metamora United Methodist Church at 8:16. Whitewater Canal Memorial, we called that out already. Philadelphia Church, a historical site there in Franklin County. And Duck Creek Stone Chapel. Again, locations that will be impacted by this rotation and this possible tornado, a Doppler radar indicated tornado for Franklin County, Indiana. Indiana. This warning is going to run through 8:30. Let's go back to radar mode right now and give you an idea of how this storm has been tracking. So we're going to go to the traditional radar mode. And again, these storms, as we look at them this evening, they're all going to have kind of this kidney bean shape to them because they're all going to have a tendency for rotating updraft. So you get these little inflow notches on the back of these kidney bean shaped storm. And as a meteorologist, that's kind of a precursor to the classic hook echo that we see in the radar reflectivity that indicates the possibility of a tornado. When we see that hook, that's when we say, okay, we really need to look at this storm in a little more detail. In this case, it's kind of that kidney bean, which is the pre-hook look that we get out of these storms. But as we zoom out and give you an idea of what's happening, that is the strongest storm that we're seeing on our radar display tonight, at least in our viewing area, moving through western sections of Franklin County. Eventually, it's going to cross into far southern sections of Fayette County and Union County, Indiana. So it's a possibility they may eventually extend that tornado warning up into Fayette and Union County, Indiana for this storm. But for now, western sections of Franklin County, Indiana is where we have this tornado warning that is going to go until 8:30 this evening. And we're looping the radar over the past few hours, and you can see how that storm, you can even see it in the radar reflectivity here, how this thing has been kind of rotating as it's lifted just a little bit east of due north. Again, coming out of Jennings County, across Ripley County, now into Franklin County, Indiana is where we're seeing this thunderstorm located. And coming in right now, it looks like the lightning continues to come down. That would be a really good thing because that is a sign perhaps that this storm is going to weaken even more as it continues to the north. So that is a possibility here. Well, let's hope that's the case. But 19 strikes earlier. We were over 100 strikes with this same thunderstorm. So the amount of lightning, the lightning activity is coming down. That is an indicator to us that perhaps this thing is weakening. I want to look and see if we're seeing any debris being lofted into the air right now. We are not seeing that. So this is the correlation coefficient, the section of radars. We look at all of our radar products that can show you debris that would be lofted up by any possible tornado. We are not seeing that right now, and that is some good news out of this. So it is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, a little kidney bean shaped storm here that continues to work through western Franklin County. So get to your safe spot here. Peppertown, Metamora, Laurel, Blooming Grove, lowest portion of your home. If that's a basement, great, go there, wait this thing out. If you don't have a basement, just get in the middle of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside. Usually like a bathroom or closet that doesn't have windows that's in the middle of your house. That's where you'll want to wait this thing out. Let's hope we do not see a tornado drop from this storm. But that possibility is with us, and that is why we have a tornado warning until 8:30 for western sections of Franklin County. I want to go back and look at these downpours, these tropical downpours that are working through Hamilton County, around Sharonville, Blue Ash, Gulf Manor right now. We've got some heavy rain in these locations right now, and I'm not seeing any signs of rotation out of these storms. At least not right now. That is certainly good news. And we can't even call them storms because they don't have lightning, so that is a good indication to us as well. And looking at this one coming up south of Wilmington, again, you got some tropical downpours here with this tropical air mass in place. But again, not seeing any signs of rotation out of those, at least nothing that is jumping out to me. Now back to the west of us, still watching this line of storms that is in southern parts of Indiana. This is what we're going to get into later. There is a severe thunderstorm warning just southwest of Bloomington, Indiana. No warnings along the line itself. In fact, as Caroline pointed out earlier, the number of warnings to our west has decreased, and that is a good thing. That doesn't mean as it gets closer to us that these storms may not strengthen again. That's a possibility. We're going to be watching very carefully between now and midnight, maybe even a little after midnight for some areas east of Cincinnati. But for now, again, it's western Franklin County that has our attention with this storm that rolled out of Jennings County, Indiana, coming across Ripley County, now into western Franklin County. It doesn't look as organized as it was earlier. And that's the good news. It doesn't look nearly as organized as it was earlier. Lightning activity continues to wane as well with this. About 23 strikes here over the past 15 minutes as opposed to over 100 that we had earlier on this thing. So I'm seeing encouraging signs here, but still, you've got some winds here that are being detected by radar. Yeah, they're not as strong as what they were earlier. That is certainly some good news, but there's still some rotation within this storm. And you can see kind of where those oranges and greens are coming together. That is a sign that we've got a rotation here, folks, that we continue to watch. Let me see if I could query. Yeah, that's some of the stronger winds. So earlier we had winds being detected in the storm around 69 miles per hour, now down to around 54 miles per hour. So the overall winds have dropped, and that's what these things do. They will get stronger. You'll see that rotation tighten up with these things. We'll get tornado warnings issued. Then the rotation kind of comes down, and then the storm reorganizes and the rotation comes back again. And that's the exact thing that we're seeing with this storm moving through western Franklin County, Indiana tonight, that has prompted this tornado warning that is going to continue until 8:30. So Metamora, Peppertown, Blooming Grove, Laurel, you should be in your safe place right now, waiting for this storm to pass. Let's hope it doesn't produce a tornado. We see no signs that is producing a tornado, no debris being shown by radar. Looking at some other products here. Again, nothing that is standing out to me as a meteorologist, but we do have broad rotation that, again, is coming through Franklin County. This is going to be approaching Indiana 1 that runs right through here. That's such a pretty drive going up there through Franklin County along Indiana 1, right along the path of this storm, Indiana 1 going up to Blooming Grove. If you're anywhere along there, get to your safe place right now. Wait for this thing to pass as it moves across Franklin County, Indiana. Again, perhaps in a weakening state. Let's hope at this juncture, Caroline, because, you know, these things, as they get stronger, they're spinning. No doubt about that.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a to them. As far as the storms to our southwest, we'll likely start to see those closer to about the 10 p.m. hour. And as John said, that continues into midnight and perhaps a few hours on the backside into early tomorrow morning. Still, though, for those of you within the red polygon in the tornado warned area, I want to give you an updated track as it moves along. Still looking at about 30 miles per hour or so northeast. So let's put the cone on. And as we extend it out, so you could see here that as I extend this out, it technically is going beyond the warned area, but this is just to show you when this storm will likely get to your neck of the woods. And if it should be extended, it's about that time that you would start to see it. So for example, we're sitting at 8:18 right now, moving through Peppertown. Exactly, that's where we started our track out from Metamora about 8:24. Blooming Grove 8:34. Again, 8:30 is when it's set to expire. However, this is still a pretty good storm here. You can still see some heavy downpours, not nearly as much lightning. That's a good sign, but still a little bit of lightning embedded in this thunderstorm. So New Fairfield about 8:40. Dunlapsville would come knocking at your door about 8:46. As far as the rotation goes from the National Weather Service, they've continued to say, because there is just a little bit of signs of that they have kept this tornado warning going. But again, it is not showing signs of strengthening or anything to that nature, which is good news. And as we look at your winds and we're looking at the colors, you're seeing winds going toward and winds going away from the radar. And that to us would indicate some of that rotation going on. With that, I want to point out one more thing. Let's take a quick zoom out. We have some heavy downpours moving through other areas. So as we swing on over to 42 here, you can see Reading, Loveland not getting the worst of it yet, but Sharonville seeing some, even Westchester and Fairfield catching some heavy downpours and moving through along 747 there, but nothing severe warned, which we'd love to see. And then another storm up close to Wilmington, Vernon Township, you're seeing a good downpour there. Let's check though, nope, no lightning really associated, a little bit, but that's south of Martinsville. We're not seeing a whole lot of heavy downpours either. So that's some good news on that front. Again, the system that we're still continuing to watch and the storms we're still continuing to track are going to continue to be southwest of us for just a few more hours. Moving south of Bloomington, Indiana, this is the area that we're going to watch as it moves closer, because this round could produce yet another batch of some strong to severe weather for us closer to that 10 p.m. hour and continuing. As far as things go with this tornado warning up here, I want to give you a look. Let's take off some things so you could see exactly who's within it. So we're going to take off the lightning. We're also going to take off our radar so you could just see the area shaded in the polygon. This stretches along 52 through Metamora and just south of Blooming Grove. But again, if it gets extended, that would then move into portions of New Fairfield, potentially Everton, Dunlapsville, areas just northeast of where it currently is. So that's why we're urging you right now, if if you are within the polygon or you are just northeast of it. So if you're in the polygon, that means, yeah, you need to be in your safe space. Areas northeast, you could see that heavy rain starting to move in just south of New Fairfield. You want to start making your plan should this get extended. There aren't any updates. I'm checking for photos as well. I don't see any coming through. Of course, if you are able to snap a photo of these storms safely, we appreciate it and we'd love for you to send them our way, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of updates on it. Still though, John, just that we are not going to allow this to expire quite yet, but we still only have about 10 more minutes on it and no signs of strengthening or anything of that nature. Still that broad rotation that we've continued to track over the last hour or so.
And we're going to stay with it as long as it has a warning with it right now. I'm looking at these other downpours, one that came through downtown Cincinnati here that's lifting north into northern Hamilton County and southern parts of Butler County. There's no lightning with this thing. There's a lot of tropical rainfall with it, and there is broad rotation with this storm right now, which isn't surprising. I mean, anything that we see popping up this evening is going to try to rotate. So there's some broad rotation with that. We will watch it. Hopefully it doesn't get any stronger. As I mentioned earlier, if these things don't stay, if they stay, really weak, if it's just rain, a little bit of wind with them, then they won't give us an issue. But as soon as they get a little stronger and that updraft in the storm gets stronger, it's going to have a tendency to rotate even more. And that's when we see some issues. You can see some heavy rain moving up toward the Mason area. This is sliding toward Hamilton, eventually toward Middletown. We'll keep an eye on it. No lightning with that, some broad rotation with it. And then we have some heavy rain that is moving back toward the Wilmington area right now. Again, no warning, nothing like that with this, just some tropical downpours that are moving there through Clinton County. And that storm in western Franklin County continues to be the one that is rotating the most. And it continues to be the strongest storm. Because of that, again, tornado warning is going to continue here until 8:30. I've been looking at the velocity on this one as well. And I'm going to come back to this velocity mode. And again, you can see where the reds and the greens are coming together. We got a broad rotation. It looks more broad than what it was earlier. And I would suspect as these storms continue to the north that they're going to weaken somewhat as they go to the north. And that appears to be what's going on here. But that said, up in Fayette County and Union County in Indiana, Preble County in Ohio, you initially weren't under the tornado watch, which goes until midnight. They've added you guys to the tornado watch. And it looks like they have just extended that tornado warning, Caroline, over to include parts of Fayette County and Union County in Indiana. So let me pull that up right now. I'm going to take radar off and give you an idea. And I'm going to take this warning box off too. So there's the extension of the tornado warning, which does include New Fairfield, Bath included in that as well. Charlottesville, Billingsville is included in that. West College Corner, you are not. You're outside this warning polygon. Also up around Dunlapsville into Union County, Indiana. You folks are now under a tornado warning in these locations. This does not include Liberty. It's not quite up to Liberty at this point, but they just added you folks into the tornado warning. So that is a brand new one that is going to run until 8:45. So as I step over here, you can see in the box here until 8:45. Again, this is Doppler radar indicated. So two separate tornado warnings now from the same storm that include Franklin County, Fayette County, and Union County in Indiana. Between 8:30 and 8:45, the expiration time on these brand new tornado warnings that we're seeing. So let's take a look at what we've got here. And again, yeah, there's the rotation that they just based it off of. So I'm going to circle this to give you an idea of where we're seeing that rotation. Looks like it's just south of Blooming Grove, Indiana. This is where we're seeing the reds and the greens coming together. And as it moves off to the north and east here, we'll give you an idea of some of the spots that have the highest chance of seeing that rotation moving over. So Brookville Reservoir Seaplane, New Fairfield, Hannah Creek Sailboat Marina, and Billingsville between now and around 8:42. You folks are in the path of this rotation with a Doppler radar indicated tornado. Get to your lowest part of your home. If that's a basement, go there. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Wait for this thing to pass as it moves through, because we certainly could have a tornado drop from this storm at any moment now with that kind of rotation that we're seeing here. The rotation just south of Blooming Grove. It looks like it is beginning to cross Indiana 1 right now. So the latest radar scan shows if we have a tornado, it's going to be crossing Indiana 1 south of Blooming Grove, heading up toward the new Fairfield area. So in those spots, get to your safe place. Let's see if we can get an idea of perhaps that gate-to-gate shear value on this, around 59 miles per hour there, where I clicked on the radar. So that's down a little bit, at least at that position from what it was. Yeah, so our gate-to-gate shear around 59 miles per hour. A little earlier, it was up around 70 miles per hour. So the rotation is still there. The shear has come down a little bit. That's a sign of the rotation strength decreasing a little bit, but it is strong enough that the National Weather Service decided, hey, we're going to keep this tornado warning going up through the rest of Franklin County and into Fayette and Union County, because this thing could produce a tornado at any point, and it certainly may. Don't have any indication of that. In fact, as we come back and look for the possibility of debris here on our radar scan, we're not seeing that. That is good news. We're not seeing any sign, any confirmation from radar that there's a tornado, but boy, there's some lightning in there right now. 23 lightning strikes here in the past 15 minutes. Some very heavy rain lifting up here now to southern parts of Fayette County and southeastern sections of Union County, Indiana, coming out of Franklin County around Blooming Grove. That is where we have the rotation continuing right now. And yeah, you can see it kind of wrapping here right around the Blooming Grove area. So again, the rotation right in here near Blooming Grove, right along 1, is where we're seeing that rotation that has prompted the brand new tornado warning. Let me just take a look at some of these wind values that we're getting here. And again, yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, nothing there. It's more in that gate-to-gate shear that we're seeing right now coming through here. So we got spin in the atmosphere. It's not strong spin. It's weak spin, but enough spin that the Weather Service feels like, hey, we got to have this tornado warning up. So there it is, Fairfield Causeway Road near Blooming Grove, coming up to New Fairfield. These are the locations here between New Fairfield and Blooming Grove where you got a possible tornado coming up your way, moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour now in these areas. Let's give you a loop of the radar as it's coming through here. And yeah, there it is, moving just a little bit east to due north. In fact, it's tending to go a little more easterly right now. And when we see that, the way the upper level winds are oriented tonight and the atmospheric setup we have, if these things start to turn a little bit to the right, they're going to have a little higher chance of spinning up a brief, small tornado. And that's what we're looking at tonight. We think the chances of large tornadoes is extremely low. If we see any tornadoes, they're going to be the brief small ones that spin up here out of these storms. And this one has that capability. That's why there's a tornado warning on that storm until 8:45. Let's go back and check those downpours moving through Hamilton County, Butler County. Again, not seeing anything of any major concern with these right now, but you got some heavy downpours moving through those locations tonight. I always worry when you see these individual storms here out ahead of the main line, which is back to the west, because it's these storms that have the tendency to rotate the most. So the leading one in Franklin County, that's what we're seeing right now with that one. Back to the west of us, checking in on things back around Bloomington, Indiana, and southern Indiana. No warnings back here right now, so that is certainly good news. This is what we're going to deal with a little bit later on this evening. It looks like after, say, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tonight, that's what eventually gets into the rest of the Cincinnati area. That stuff will try to rotate too, but hopefully by that point, everything's a little bit weaker. So right now, our focus on Fayette, Union, and Franklin County in Indiana, where we have a tornado warning. One of them, the first one down to the south here, is going to expire in just about a minute. The second one, it's going to go for about another 15 minutes on that storm as it's moving through here, checking out the rotation again. Yep. There it is. Okay, it's now moving to the east of 1, right between Blooming Grove and New Fairfield. So if we got a tornado, this is where it's going to be right now, folks. There's the other tornado warning that has expired. So you saw that disappear. So now one tornado warning that goes until 8:45 for northern parts of Franklin County, the southeastern section of Fayette County, and up into the southern half of Union County, Indiana, due to this rotation that we're seeing on this storm right here. Let me take that circle away right now, zoom back out a little bit. And I just want to give you kind of a broad idea of where this thing's headed. And they're moving about 30 miles an hour with this rotation. So within this warning polygon, again, these are the spots. Brookville, Reservoir Seaplain, New Fairfield, Quakertown Marina, Dunlapsville, Billingsville, Whitewater State Park around 8:44, and Lotus around 8:49. So those are the spots between now and around 8:49, just at the expiration of that warning at 8:45, that will be possibly indicated by this, or be affected by this possible tornado, this spin that continues to move across this area. Caroline, you've got the watch up, the tornado watch, which they expanded to the north a little bit. Yeah.
Which worked out good timing with this